Hey, how's it going everyone? I am making this video because I am starting a restoration project on this 1993 E36 M3. I've had this car for a bit over a year and 2 years now, and it needs a bit of love and work. It currently has 150,000 kilometers on it. It is a family car that I've grown up to since I was about this tall, and yeah, it's in great condition mostly, but it has 30 years of wear and tear to it. So the idea is, yeah, to start this restoration journey. I'd like to do a lot of it myself. I've bought a lot of tools. Prior to this, I owned probably about a screwdriver, and that was about it. So I invested in a little bit of tool set, a lift, some jacks, and yeah, gonna be doing a few things to this car. So first of all, I'd like to apologize for the lighting and the sound. I am in my building basement. Lighting is not great, there is a lot of echo. I'm looking to see if I can get a better mic that will limit that a little bit. But yeah, the idea for the restoration of this car is there's a lot of things that need to be done in terms of paint and body. I will show you in a bit. Some of the stuff with the spoiler here is not great. It has 30-year-old suspension, original parts mostly all around. These wheels are not stock, but they are BMW. Some stuff has been done to the interior, but it's mostly OEM, just a bit of 80s fake wood glued onto the panels type thing, but that can be easily fixed. There is some age, so some of the leather inside is coming unglued. So yeah, so today's project is basically just assessing what the car looks like. So I'm going to be putting it up on jacks, having a look underneath, taking off the wheels, and probably taking off, starting to disassemble rear subframe and front lower control arms, potentially also removing suspension. I have ordered new control arms for the car. I am looking to buy new suspension. So yeah, there's a bit of engine work that needs to be done as well, but that I think I will not do myself. Not sure yet about that, but I have no experience coming into this project. I've never worked on a car before. So the idea is, to try to do some of the stuff myself. I have a good amount of friends and people I know that have done this kind of project before, so leveraging their knowledge as well. So yes, as you can see, working with the car here, there is some old wear and tear from 30 years of just rock chips and paint chips, things like that. The bumper is mostly okay, but the front lip right here at the bottom has some scrapes, the usual things you would see after this many years. There's the calipers, you won't be able to see in here, but the calipers will need some restoration. The wheels are mostly in good shape. I might buy new discs as well. There is some rust, if you can see here, it's hard to tell, but yeah, there is some rust here along old bolts and things like that. Coming around the back of the car, you'll see this wing that I believe is aftermarket. If you look in here, I'll shine a light onto this real quick. You can see here these screws. This is absolutely god awful. I don't know who in their right mind would use these kind of wood screws to mount a spoiler. So there will be a bit of work around that, around just getting all that fixed. Okay, so we're now going to start putting the car on jacks. I'm going to loosen the tire nuts. I have bought these jack stands from on Amazon. They're from Michelin. They support up to 2 tons. I'm going to be using those to stack up the car. Buying equipment is always an exciting part of the journey, in my opinion. I love tools, and these kind of things are super exciting. So yeah, it's always fun to figure out how these things work. So first things first, we're going to loosen all of the nuts that hold the wheels, because it's always better to do that before lifting the car up. Okay, having removed now all four wheels, we can have a look at the state of the suspension. And as you can see, it has 30 years of wear and tear. We can see the lower control arms here and the state of those. So we're gonna have a closer look at these and the bushings in a sec. But yeah, moving on to the rear. You can see I had already replaced these shocks or the absorbers here, the dampers, a couple years ago, probably 4 years ago. So I removed all of the bolts that were holding the shock absorber to the whole suspension system. The caliper and its assembly is still held on by the lower control arm and the steering rod, whatever you would call it. I'm gonna take the shock out. I'm still trying to figure out how to undo the bolt from the steering rod, and yeah, then we should be able to take the whole rotor off. And it's out. As you can see, front shock is finally out, and by the state of the top here, I can imagine this is a original BMW shock that came with the car. Good news, there's not any rust up at the top here, which is one of the concerns with the E36s. Yeah, there's nothing really that I can see. So yeah, now we're gonna move on and keep going and disassemble the rest. Okay, so I've been sitting here for a while now, trying to fiddle with this caliper here, trying to take well, the whole brake disc and trying to take the caliper off. I've watched one or two videos. I didn't really want to have to do this yet, but I think I'm going to have to disconnect the brake line, and I'm unsure how much fluid is going to come out of that, so going to use this bucket and put it under, and hopefully it won't be too much of a mess, but yeah, let's see. Okay, so about an hour later, I finally disassembled the brake caliper. It took so long to get off. I think it's super crusty, super rusty. I'll show you in a second. But yeah, so everything is off in terms of brake, and now I'm going to remove the bolts that mount this to the lower control arm and steering arm. So yeah, you can see if I shine my head torch here, this is what we're working with on the inside of the brake cylinder. It's very rusty. Back here, yeah, we have the terrible lighting. But yeah, I've disassembled this part. As you can see, it is quite rusty. We'll need some restoration. We have the brake pads here. And yeah, making progress slowly but surely, learning as we go. So yeah, I'll put you back on the tripod and we will keep going. Okay, so I've been working on the right side now. I've gotten everything off except the last bolt that it goes to the control arm, lower control arm. I'm trying to remove it now, but it's proving to be a bit stuck. So yeah, let's see what happens. There we go. It's come off now. And so with that, the complete rotor assembly is off. We're left with the lower control arm, the steering rod, and yeah, this whole thing. So now I'm gonna move on to trying to remove this control arm. Okay, well, after about 1 day's work, I have disassembled the front two axles to an extent. A few bolts are proving more difficult than expected, which is not a surprise with a project like this. These bolts are 30 years old and a lot of them haven't been touched in 30 years. So yes, going to call it a day at this point, order some parts, wait for them to arrive, and yeah. I think next thing is I'm going to start disassembling the front bumper and some of the front assembly, just to see which kind of plastics there are under there and which ones need to be replaced. There's quite a substantial amount of work to do. I think in terms of what I want to achieve with this car, the goal is to bring it back to its former glory, but you know, within limitation factors of yeah, there's a lot of things to do on this car, and I don't want this project to take a year where yeah, it's never ending, and there is an infinite amount of parts that I could change on this car. The idea is to really make it proper roadworthy again. Yeah, making sure that all of the things that need to function to its best. I'll be buying some suspension, either ST or KW probably. That's basically it. After one day, I'm pretty happy. I've got my hands dirty officially now. So yeah, this project is only getting started. I'm documenting this for myself, but also for anyone who's interested in seeing this project and might need help also just understanding what goes into fixing an E36. So yeah, thank you very much, and until next time.